Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This episode is the first episode in 2021. I'm actually recording it in 2020, but you will be listening to it in 2021. A new year where your energy might be up, you're focusing, re-envisioning, re-challenging yourself, assessing, how you've been living your life the past few months or the past year and how you're going to make that different in 2021. Well, I'm going to share with you how we are going to get you to actually stick to whatever New Year's resolution you create for yourself. This is a health and wellness podcast, so if it's related to, fitness or nutrition, or even your body size or whatever that is, like that, most likely the examples that I'm going to give are going to be supportive of that. But honestly, this system that I'm going to teach you is going to be helpful for you regardless of your goal. Okay? Now, I want to first share that a couple of the stuff that I've learned was literally I was following somebody on TikTok and she was kind of sharing that this is something that her therapist had taught her. I've learned about this theory kind of in therapy as well. There's many aspects to this lesson that I'm going to give you that it's not coming from me. So I want to give credit where credit's due. I don't know the original resource, but I'm sure it's kind of just a well-known thing in the probably in psychology. I don't think it's anything new. However, this might be the first time that you're hearing it, and the way in which I present it to you might be really, really informative and hopefully will help you, when you're creating your 2021 New Year's resolutions. Okay. So very often when we're thinking of our New Year's resolutions, we're thinking of our goals, right? It's normal to say, I want to, lose 20 pounds. I want to get out of debt. I want to, hopefully maybe you're thinking more like heal your relationship with food, more of the foundational things or get closer with your go closer in your relationships or all of those things. But at the end of the day, you're really focused on the goal. Now, the strategy I'm going to teach you is actually not focused on the goal. So we can have goals in place. However, if that's solely what you're focused on, you're going to always feel slightly disappointed. Okay, there's a quote by Ryan Holiday, and he says, "You thought that doing impressive work would make you happy. This is precisely wrong. It's that being happy will help us do important and impressive work, quite possibly better and more pure." And Ryan Holiday is an amazing author. He's super inspiring, somebody that I look up to. And that quote is important because I think what he's sharing is that if we can't appreciate what we have now, we're not going to appreciate what we get. Okay, so the goal is to be happy with where you're at and enjoy the journey, because if you're just kind of waiting to get to this certain number on a scale or body size or PR in the gym, and you're expecting that your world is somehow going to flip on its head and just everything's going to be better, you're going to be really disappointed. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But it's why you got to fall in love with the process. You got to love the journey, and you have to stick to things that are important to you. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to kind of share with you how I want you to, when you're thinking about your New Year's resolutions, what I want you to be thinking about. All right. So there's two ways you can choose to live your life. Okay. You can either live a goal-based life or a value-based life. So goals are what we just talked about. They sound like, quote unquote, I'll be happy when, then insert the challenge you may never even achieve. So that's another thing too. It might be like, I'll be happy when I become a millionaire. Well, some people spend their whole lives trying to become a millionaire, right? And you might get it, but it might be in the second half of your life. So you just missed out on the whole first half of your life, right? Or I'll be happy when I lose 50 pounds. Maybe 50 pounds isn't realistic. Maybe 30 pounds is your sweet spot. And now you're still 30 pounds later, yet you're not happy or you're not appreciative of it. Right? So you can either live a goal-based life, which is that, Also, their other examples are things like weight loss, getting into a relationship, or making a certain amount of money. And they are often concrete, and the why behind them are usually driven by ego or having something to prove, right? So it's kind of like just thinking, for my whole life, I thought that losing weight was what I needed to do to be taken seriously as a registered. Well, at first it was to be taken seriously to get, into a relationship or to have boys to like me. That was like a very early on, a story that I told myself early on. And then as I got older, I thought that I needed to fit the mold as a registered dietitian. I thought I needed to look a certain way in order to be successful. It's such a lie, but I had something to prove, but it wasn't for myself. It was doing it for other people, for society, for just to fit in the quote unquote norm or normal, which I don't even know what that equals anymore, right? So it really wasn't coming from a place from me. It wasn't coming from my soul and what I needed. It was very ego-based, ego-driven, and I always felt like I had something to prove. And when we go that route, nothing will ever feel enough if you don't appreciate what you have, okay? Another quote, before I kind of share with you what a value-based life is, another quote that I want you to kind of reflect on is also by Ryan Holiday. And he says, it's from the same article, by the way. He says, we all think external accomplishment is going to change everything, but it never seems to. It doesn't change how you see yourself. It doesn't change how you go through the world. It doesn't change what you feel like when you wake up in the morning. So that's the hard truth. Imagine working your whole life to get to a certain income goal, to get out of debt, to get to this certain, number on the scale, to hit this PR, to get into this relationship. And I'm sure it's exciting for a moment. It's exciting for a while, but nothing really changes. You still got to wake up and you still got to do the work. And, if you're in this relationship that you love and appreciate, you're going to have to keep putting in the work to keep that relationship, right? If you finally hit your revenue goal, you're still going to have to put in the work to keep that revenue goal, right? If you're happy at, the weight that you're at, you're still going to have to put in the work to keep that weight, right? So it's important that we are appreciative of the journey and we recognize that it's not about reaching a certain number. It's not about getting to this specific PR goal, whatever it is, whatever that external accomplishment is that you're searching for, that's not what you're looking for. It's not outside of you. It's inside of you. That's what you're looking for, right? So the opposite of living a goal-based life is choosing to live a value-based life, okay? If you continue to live a goal-based life, you're constantly going to postpone your own happiness. You're never going to live in the present because you're always going to be chasing something, right? But if you choose to live a value-based life, that sounds more like, quote, I want to be someone who takes care of their body regardless of their size. I want to be someone who appreciates all of their qualities, whether they're in a relationship or not, right? I want to be someone who appreciates what they have rather than always kind of chasing for the next best thing, okay? With this attitude, when you live a value-based life, you're going to feel good regardless of the outcome. You'll live more in the moment and you will naturally choose to kind of better yourself as a person rather than dumping your worth into whether or not you met said goal. Okay, that is so, so huge. So when you live a value-based life, when you say, I want to be someone who takes care of their body regardless of their size, you will then learn to appreciate your body, love your body, and take care of your body along the journey. And you're not going to be waiting to be happy when you look a certain way or you feel a certain way or you meet a certain pan size or whatever it is. You're going to choose to just be proud of yourself on a daily basis because you told yourself that you were going to care for your body, and that's exactly what you're doing. Now, from there, you can set up goals, but just make sure that whatever goals you set up, they're based off of your values, okay? So that's really, really important. What screws so many people up is they choose to make New Year's resolutions and they keep the goal top of mind, right? However, if we choose the type of person that we want to be, the type of things that we want to engage in, because it represents our overarching goal of what's important to us, right? So if we appreciate our body, then we what's important to us is what goes into our body, right? If we appreciate our body, what's important to us is that we move our body, right? If we appreciate our body, that the way that we talk to ourselves about our body it matters too, right? So if we're beating ourselves up about what we look like or what we see in the mirror, that doesn't align with someone who appreciates all of their qualities, whether they're at their goal or not, right? Those don't align. So make sure you first clearly define what value systems are important to you, and then you talk about your goals and just make sure that you have that your goals align with your values. Okay? I hope this makes sense. Definitely let me know. You can email me, tipswithtony.com@gmail.com. You can screenshot this, tag me on your story at tips_with_Tony. Let me know. Let me know what sort of goals you're going to create that are based off of your values. Okay? So what kind of value-based system are you going to enter 2021 with? Let me know, whether you email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com, or screenshot this, share it on your story. Or, fun fact, you can actually now text me. I know, I'm like so excited. So I've been so tired of trying to, beat the algorithms on Instagram. I never know, when or if you see this message or not, or you heard this podcast, and it can be really hard to kind of stay on top of you guys, and like letting you know what's in the loop and making sure that we're staying connected. And I really want to make sure that we're able to do that. So I created a text list for those who want more information from me. So if you text the number 914-219-6446, and you just say, hey, or you say emotional eating tip, the very first message that you're going to get from me is all about how to manage emotional eating. It's like a 5 to 6 minute video clip, super self-explanatory. Definitely go and do that. Going forward, you may or may not be getting like weekly videos from me or weekly messages. I'm still not sure how I'm going to be utilizing this to stay connected with you. But if you just want to like ask me a question, you totally can just ask me that question. So first text me, make sure you get on the list. So text me hello, text me emotional eating tip, whatever you want to do, text 914-219-6446. Again, 914-219-6446. Text me, you'll get on the list, make sure you save my number. It'll prompt you to do all these things. Once you're officially established, I'll let you know that like, hey, this is actually really me. This is no longer like a generated automated program. And then you're welcome to ask me any questions that you want. If you have suggestions for future episodes, if you want to just let me know your takeaways, you can text me and message me your takeaways as well. All right. So again, text me 914-219-6446. I hope that after listening to this episode, your New Year's resolution, whether you had it in mind already or you haven't created it yet, or you're just going to shape it or reshape it, I hope that you kind of swap it out so that you're focused more on your values before your goals. All right, guys, that is it for me today. As always, I'm Tony Maronici, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.